All right, so here we are on the CubeTutor webpage. If you guys are at least halfway paying attention in the group, you know that there's a link to the CubeTutor I post all the time. So you can do all kinds of cool stuff like check out sample packs. It's just a random 15 cards from the cube, kind of give you an idea of what it may look like to draft. But basically, I saw my GoPro sitting across the room. We'll go back to the list here. Saw my GoPro sitting across the room and thought, I've really wanted to film a draft, but for the last couple weeks, everybody keeps backing out or can't make it, or we just never have enough. So I figured, what's the next best thing to do? Why not draft the list on CubeTutor? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft my cube and kind of talk our way through it. And 15 cards in the pack, 3 packs, 7 bots. That'll simulate a full table. Here we go. So pack 1, pick 1. There are like no white cards in this pack, so that'll kind of affect it a little bit. Cards that leap out to me, there's a couple of really good aggro cards in Berserker and Rabblemaster. Tireless Tracker is new, kind of like it. It's a human. Mole Drifter is fantastic, obviously, in mid-range. Entomb and Animate Dead. I'm a huge fan of Reanimator decks. Spy Network's really interesting. Beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, get a flying artifact creature token. And whenever one or more artifact creatures deal damage, draw a card. So it's a very good little engine. Jared, for a long time, was basically just forcing white-blue Thought for Spy Network control. And of course, Hall of Triumph is kind of your, pick a color, anthem all your creatures. I really like Luterial Core. With no white in the pack, if you take a red card, there's 4 decent red cards in the pack, so you'll be fighting. You can take Mole Drifter and probably expect to get back Censor. You can take the Anthem. Strangleroot's good if you just want to go stompy. Kind of leaning towards Entomb here. I'm trying to think what I would do sitting in actual table drafting, and I think for me it comes down to, do you take Entomb? Do you take Looter? Maybe Rabblemaster, but I think it's Entomb or Looter. Let's try to draft Reanimator. I don't know. Maybe just draft the Luterial Core. Because then you still have some Reanimator, you still have red-blue spells, white-blue control. It's just a good card. Nah, I'm going my instinct. I'm taking the Entomb. And, of course, Pack 2 has Exhume in it. So there's that. Just want to take a minute and see if there's anything. If we would have taken the blue card in Pack 1, we could take Miscalculation and just cut everything. But it's not to be. Harmonize is fantastic. Greater Gargadon's amazing. I think we just take Exhume, though. Yeah, we just take Exhume. We can take Bloodghast. That's kind of sick. Turn 1 Entomb, find Bloodghast. Second turn, play a land. It comes back into play. Kind of your generic flyer and still Hellkite. Fire Blast, Zombie. We've got a couple of mono black reanimation spells. Nothing else really stands out. Could take Wooded Foothills in case we pick up lands and we end up in one of those colors. I'm trying to figure out what comes back out of this pack. I think Acidic Slime comes back. Bobble may come back. Bobble's interesting if you have multicolor control. Zombie's good. 3 power can hit a card from green or white. I'm really, really, really looking to take Wooded Foothills here. I know it doesn't look right. It's a red-green land with 2 black spells, but I think I take the Foothills and hope to get back one of these 2 cards. Alternatively, just take the zombie and cut the black cards, but then you pass Bloodghast. Bloodghast is more in an aggro deck. I'm taking the Foothills. You can tell me how bad I am in the comments. Alright, so this is interesting. Una's Prowler, 2 mana, 3 power flyer that can discard cards, that sets up Reanimator. Life Death is in the pack, which is another reanimation spell. And Overgrown Tomb, which, because of Foothills, we could find. I kind of want Tomb and Prowler and Life Death, but there was that Animate Dead in pack 1, which is probably not coming back. There's still a few reanimation spells in the cube. We're heavier black, Hymn to Thorax, amazing. If we end up in this green-black rock deck, we get back Consuming Vapors. It's basically how greedy do I want to be for an on-color Shock Duel. I think Prowler comes back. I think I'm just taking the Tomb, and we'll see. Yeah, there's not a lot here. Wickerbow Elder is fine. I think I take Windswept Heath. I don't see much here. I don't feel we're committed necessarily to Reanimator, but Windswept Heath gives us a second way to find Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, I think we're probably going to end up in some green-black rock decks, just mid-range value. Yeah, there's nothing here. We could try to go really deep with Cruel Command or Cruel Ultimatum, but I just don't see it. We've got time to get into... it's double red, though. I was going to say we can get into some weird Felden Reanimator stuff, but... we just take the Birthing Pod. 3 in Phyrexian green, so either 2 life or green, and then 1 Phyrexian green. Sack a creature, search your library for a creature that costs X+1, where X is its power. It's a really interesting card. I just don't know. I'm just not sold on anything. I think we just take Birthing Pod. Alright, here we go. Here's some interesting cards. Inquisition of Kozilek. Solid Disruption. Unearth. Both cycles and gets a 3-drop. Now, we have no creatures through 6 picks. We have Entomb, Exhume, Pod, and 3 lands, which I'm completely fine with. Reclamation Sage is amazing. It's kind of that green-black value card we were talking about, but it's either Inquisition or Unearth. I think I'm going with Unearth just because it has some interactions with Birthing Pod, where we can sack a guy and then get it back, and it cycles, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. So there's nothing in this pack. You can take Aristocrat as kind of like a mid-rangey finisher. We're going to be splashing into red, so we're going to have to get Stomping Grounds. Stomping Grounds will be good. The red-black one was it Blood Crypt. Blue's open. Condescend's amazing. Part of me wants to get Eternal Dragon if I pick up Godless Shrine. Can pay to go get a Plains. We can reanimate it. The Aristocrat's just so good. And I have Wooded Foothills to find red. It's really Aristocrat or Eternal Dragon. I haven't seen Wrath of God or anything. I mean, like, white could be... we might walk into some spells here. So this will be pick 8. So we're going to get our pack back. I don't expect to see Animate Dead. I don't expect to see Mole Drifter. One of the red cards might be there. The red one, deal 2 damage. Magma Spray, Magma Jet, it's probably in the pack. I think I take Aristocrat and expect to see a red card just to give myself some options. Wow, okay. So good news, bad news. The stuff I thought was coming back is not coming back. Remember this pack had several good red cards. This I would have thought went earlier than Stagger Shock or Rabble Master. But the good news is we're in green-black rock, so Tireless Tracker is probably an amazing pick. It's 3 mana, so Unearth gets it back. It's easy to cast. It's a single color. Has 2 really interesting abilities. One is Landfall Investigate, so you make a colorless token that you can pay 2 and sack to draw a card. And whenever you sack a clue, +1/+1, so it's kind of perfect for this grindy mid-range deck. I mean, we have Unearth and Exhume to get it back. We've already got the land. We can Birthing Pod into it. If we're going to play Pod, though, we really need Strangleroot Geist because of the 2 activations. But green's a little hard. We may end up in some 3-color good stuff deck, so we're going to take Tireless Tracker. So Entomb, Tireless Tracker out of the same pack is not bad. With Pod, this guy gets a lot better. Sack him, set up our lands. Alternatively, in Reanimator, Satyr Wayfinder, look at the top 4 cards, put a land in your hand, the rest in the graveyard. So that could hit our spells. We can get it back. I think I like Wayfinder over Explorer just because it already does what we want it to do when it comes into play. A couple of good cards. Acidic Slime, Death Touch, and destroys artifact, creature, or land. Or sorry, artifact, enchantment, or land when it comes into play. Or Zombie, 3/1 Intimidate. I think I like just going big. We're just going to play Acidic Slime. We're just going to end up in the rock. So we have Life Death, or we have Sapling Burst. Both really, really good cards. Burst is kind of a finisher, but I'm going to just double up on the reanimation spell. Wickerbow Elder fits perfectly into both Pod and our reanimation strategy. We're never realistically casting either one of these cards. I'm just taking Cruel Ultimatum. And not a bad dude last. 3 power for 2 casting cost. Alright, so after pack 1, we have Entomb, we have Exhume, we have Unearth, we have Life Death, and we've got some creatures that help Reanimator and Satyr Wayfinder. We've got the on-color land, we've got 2 ways to fetch it. Tireless Tracker, Slime, Elder, we've got, look at this, 2, 3, 4, 5, got kind of a curve going for the pod, so we're in good shape. I think we just draft the green-black good stuff, and I want this entire pack. Awesome. So Pack Rat is just busted. Una's Prowler didn't come back, so one of the bots is probably in Reanimator. Pack Rat's busted. Make copies of itself, discarding cards. Shriek Maw's good removal. Be really interesting to evoke it, then bring it back with Life Death or Exhume. Although Exhume, they get a creature back, so maybe that's not the best. Whip of Erebos is good, but maybe it's good in a grindy deck. It's just a lot of mana. Tassiger is fantastic with Delve, especially off things like Satyr Wayfinder. Marauder's good. Karmic Guide. I think I'd just take Shriek Maw here. I know probably Pack Rat is better objectively, but with this grindy value deck and the fact we've got one of the birthing pods, I think we just take Shriek Maw. I may be wrong there, but your mileage may vary. Again, what an amazing pack. So we have Green Warden, 6 mana, kind of the top of our curve. Return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Same thing when it dies. Deathrite Shaman is just amazing. We can take another fetch land if we want it. Collected Company to go get a couple guys with 3 or less, although Tracker is about the only thing we're really excited about at this point. Edict is good. Yasova's a 4-power creature with trample. I think I just take Deathrite Shaman here. I don't expect to get much back out of this pack, probably ending up with like Chromatic Sphere just a cycle. Green Warden's new to the cube, so the AI may let it come back to us. I really don't expect to see Yasova Dragonclaw. I think we just take Deathrite, just play the grindy value game. Second Birthing Pod. If we take the pod, we're in really good shape. We probably even get back Messenger, which is just fantastic in pod because of Undying. It's either the pod or Staff of Nin, I think, which is 6 mana, draw 2 cards every turn, deal a damage. I think we just take the Birthing Pod. Let's not think too deeply there. Another fantastic pack for us. Skin Render's amazing. Invader's great with pod. Warden is kind of a sleeper hit. Basically, just grows forever. Necromancer's kind of an interesting pod card. I think we take Skin Render and hope to wheel one of these 3. I think that's the plan. Take Skin Render, 4 mana, 3/3 that kills a creature. We can pod up into it. We can just cast it. When we reanimate it, it gets another one of their creatures. Just value. And then hope to get one of these 3 guys, either Warden, Nest Invader, or Necromancer. The Necromancer is what I really want to see come back. A couple options here. Phyrexian Arena is fine. Kind of worry about using the pod a lot with Arena, with a life. Mardu Strike Leader is really interesting. Oh wow, I thought it put the token onto the battlefield attacking, but it does not. It just leaves him behind. Arena's probably wrong, but it's one of my favorite cards in Magic. I'm taking it. It doesn't do anything, especially on the draw. You just tap 3 lands and don't affect the board state, but in a long enough game, you just win. So we're going to take Arena and hope for good things. We could pick up something splashy like Bosch just to reanimate. We don't have a lot of ways to discard it. We've let Una's Prowler go. We let Pack Rats go. I'm not really liking that. Looks like this pick 1 Entomb, pick 2